Hello, in this video, we're going to take a look at the Cliffs of Moher from two perspectives. One is walking there at the Trailhead from where our Airbnb is by Doolin Pier. Here we're walking out of our Airbnb and walking down the road. It's about a 10-minute walk down to the village where the pub is. And once we get to the pub, we can turn around and make a headway up the hill. Along the way, as we walk down towards the pub, there are some scenic sights. Here's one of them. This is an impressive looking animal. And then let's fast forward as we make our way into the village. Here we are, bed and breakfast, little stores, some light traffic, some knitwear and pottery on the left here. And right there in front of you is O'Connor's Pub. This pub has excellent food. And at night, about 9:30, there's also music. We're going to walk up that road up there. We're going to make our way up to the top where the trailhead is located. Now we've reached the end of the village and we're looking back. That's a nice sweater shop. And then a little food store right here. And we come to a bridge. We're going to cross this little bridge that crosses a creek and then make a right to go up that hill. We are now over the bridge and we can see that the creek or river is dried up right now. So we'll make our way across the bridge and up the hill on the other side. Looking back, we can see the village. Still a little more to go, but let's pan around and see what the view looks like. That's spectacular. That's the village down there. We walk through that. Great scenery in the background. And there's O'Connor's Pub. And now we're at the top of the hill, and we can see that the trailhead here. And the trailhead clearly is labeled Cliffs of Moher Coastal Walk. As you approach the trailhead, it says walking trail closed, but that's 5 kilometers ahead. You can walk for 5 kilometers on this trail. So making our way up here, we get to see some of the views. And in the distance, we can see the trail continuing over there. And then we can see one tip of the Cliffs of Moher. And then panning out, we can see Doolin's Pier over there and Doolin's Ferry Point, where the ferry takes you to Arran Island. It's a beautiful view looking all the way out into the ocean. And that's an alternate trail that you're recommended not to take because the cliffs are not necessarily stable and could give way. They strongly recommend you stay on this trail. This is the official trail, and it goes up and down. So be prepared for some hiking, 5 kilometers all the way to the end of this trail before it closes. If that's not for you, then you can consider a different path, which is at the Cliffs of Moher Visitor Center. So this is how you get to the Cliffs of Moher. It's about a 14-minute drive from the Airbnb. When you arrive there, it's a huge parking lot. Entrance at the time we went in was 15 euros per person. And that's for the parking and for entry into the Moher experience. So once we parked here and make our way across the street, we're at the entrance of the Cliffs of Moher experience. Right there is a coffee shop where you can get soft drinks, some snacks, and coffee too. And making our way through into the experience, we come up to this sign. On the sign, we can see that we are located right here at the entrance area. The visitor area is to the right ahead of us. And there are two parts, one to the left and one to the right. And all of them offer excellent views. So let's make our way over to the viewing platforms. But first, let's walk by the stores and the visitor center. As we walk through, we can see the local retail outlets right here, carved into the mountain. Cute little setting, nice stores. Certainly worth a visit if you're in the shopping mindset. And then as we continue to make our way forward, let's fast forward here just a little bit. You come to the actual visitor center right here. It's so easy to miss and so easy to ignore. But we suggest you go into it. There's a fair amount to see and a fair amount to learn that'll give you an appreciation when you are actually on the trail looking at the cliffs. So, making our way into the visitor center is a circular pathway here on the lower level and then one on the higher level. One thing we suggest you do is go into this ledge, the 4D experience. It gives you a great view of what the Cliffs of Moher look like. And now we're back out of the visitor center looking from the higher level, and we can see the cliffs right here. On the far end, there's a little building. We think it might be a lighthouse, and there's a rock in the ocean right here. Let's pan that slowly. As we pan forward, we can see there's a cave-like thing right there. We'll try and get a better view of that as we walk down the path. Although it looks calm from this altitude, the waves are pretty strong. Walking further along, we get a different view at that cave opening. It's huge, it's tall and wide, and it looks amazing. Now, I wonder what it would be like to take a boat along there. Now, the ferry does offer rides along these coasts, so you can get a different perspective on this. One thing about taking this approach to seeing the cliffs is that the path is well maintained, there are clear steps and paved roads. I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much for watching the Cliffs of Moher with us.